Namaste. The amazing powers of vacuum breathing. Now, this technique, vacuum breathing, is hardly known. Very few people actually know about it, and very few people are actually able to practice it. The real effects of vacuum breathing happen or are available to those who have done a lot of inner work, who've done a lot of cleansing, and so on. In my view, there are 7, 8 things, or maybe over 10 things that are essential one should have done to be able to get the maximum benefit of vacuum breathing. Relaxing oneself, the mind and the body. Because if the mind is not relaxed, the body cannot be relaxed. Similarly, if the body is not relaxed, the mind cannot be relaxed. So if either is agitated, the other will become agitated. So relaxing the mind and body are definitely the number one. Then learning to mentally map the different channels of breath and energy in the body. We teach this in the SWA-TANTRA Kriya, and those who have done the SWA-TANTRA Kriya will find vacuum breathing much easier and far more beneficial. Others may not even be able to do it because, see, can you run a vacuum through clogged pipes? If something is clogged up, even if you try to run a vacuum pump or something, it won't have an effect. Vacuum pump will have an effect when at least there is a partial opening, a partial cleansing has been done. Then if you try to apply a vacuum, then it can have a powerful effect on cleansing away the rest of the stuff that is clogging up a channel or whatever. In our case, of course, we are thinking of vacuum as a means of cleansing the nadis, the chakras, the pranamaya kosh, and so on. When breath is able to move freely throughout the system, which means it is able to go from the Sahasrara to the Muladhara to the Sahasrara, base chakra to the crown chakra, and so on. That's when this technique will be a little more effective. Getting into meditative states, also important. When you learn, when you practice, and you are able to get into meditative states easily, again, this technique of vacuum breathing will be very powerful. Cleansing blockages in the major nadis and the chakras. So there are different techniques that are taught by different people. I teach the SWA-TANTRA Kriya techniques, which are very powerful to cleanse the nadis, the chakras, and to activate the pranamaya kosh. Deep activation of the pranamaya kosh is also an important part. Experiencing states of ananda, experiencing states of pleasantness, just with the breath. So, you know that orgasmic kind of feeling that comes when certain techniques are practiced. For example, in the SWA-TANTRA Kriya, it's a very pleasant feeling without loss of any fluids and so on, without need of a partner, just with your own breath. So between the game between your energy and your consciousness, and you begin to experience those states of pleasantness, bliss, ananda. Activating the Sushumna. I'm saying it now, I'm saying it last, but this is among the single most important things required to be able to benefit from vacuum breathing. If your Sushumna is open, if your Sushumna is cleansed, and more importantly, if you've learned the Lotus opening technique, which I teach again in my different programs, including the SWA-TANTRA Kriya, then you will get very powerful effects of the vacuum breathing technique. And then, of course, continuing to do your breath work on a regular basis so that the systems stay open, systems don't get clogged up, and so on and so forth. So, as you continue to do this, you will find that vacuum breathing actually helps you to increase the amount of energy available in the body, and then to channel that increased energy up the spine to help you raise your consciousness. And what is meant by consciousness, or what is meant by raising consciousness? Consciousness basically is a sense of I, a sense of me. What am I? What is my understanding of me? What is my understanding of my environment? How are we impacting each other? How do I impact the environment? How does the environment impact me? This is basically what consciousness is. In lower consciousness, this me, this sense of I, is limited to somehow surviving, somehow continuing to live, etc. But as consciousness begins to evolve, as consciousness begins to change, anyone going through that change sees himself not as a limited person, in terms of this body, in terms of this experience, but he begins to experience greater sense of, for example, compassion, love, sense of clarity, sense of joy, sense of oneness. All of these different things begin to grow in one because consciousness has evolved. And the funny thing about life is, those with a higher consciousness are easily equipped by nature to fulfill whatever they need to fulfill. So their work, their basic goal of helping other people also raise their consciousness, not just people, all other forms of life around, helping them raise their consciousness. And one of the best ways, of course, is love. When we feel love, when we experience love, and when we share love. And it's not about saying I love you. It's probably the silliest thing one can do. No, I should take that back. It's not the silliest thing one can do, but just saying it is not enough. It needs to be expressed in action, in feelings, and so on and so forth. It's not just words. So that's what I meant when I said it's the silliest thing to do. But I hope you'll pardon my statement there. So as one's consciousness begins to rise, it's easier to feel the sense of love, compassion for others, not to be affected by the drama that goes on around us, and so on and so forth. These are all signs of heightening or raising one's consciousness. And vacuum breathing, by doing whatever it does, by creating that sense of that condition like a vacuum, it can help you not only lift your cerebrospinal fluid up towards the third eye, towards the Agya chakra, and so on, but it will also help you cleanse your systems beautifully. So whatever earlier cleansing has been done, when the vacuum breathing is employed, especially when it's taught clearly, like we would do in the SWA-TANTRA Kriya and the other programs, adjunct to SWA-TANTRA Kriya, you will get the maximum benefits of vacuum breathing. You may read about it, you may look for it, but you may not find the kind of information that is required, because there is still very little information about vacuum breathing. There is something, but it's a very limited expression of vacuum cleaning or vacuum breathing. In our programs, vacuum breathing takes on a totally different new expression. Do try it, but first equip yourself with the SWA-TANTRA Kriya, learn the techniques there, and then go for vacuum breathing. Namaste. All the best.